In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you 15 essential rhythm patterns that every church pianist needs to be familiar with. So these rhythm patterns range from beginner to intermediate and maybe even a little more advanced, but don't let that scare you because I'm going to break these down and explain them very clearly, and even if you're a beginner, you'll be able to execute these advanced and kind of tricky sounding rhythms. And I have several different patterns in common time, which is 4/4 time, 3/4 time, and 6/8 time. These are very common time signatures that you'll find, so you'll be well prepared and equipped to play in different time signatures. Whatever you're doing, if you can be familiar with these rhythm patterns I'm going to show you today, it'll add a lot more variety to your playing, and you'll have more tools at your disposal to use when you're playing the piano, improvising from the hymn book, or accompanying a vocalist, or playing for congregational singing. Now this video goes along with the previous video that I made where I talked about 12 different rhythm patterns that every church pianist needs to be familiar with. So if you haven't watched that one, I encourage you to take a look at that one as well. So take a look at this lesson sheet that I have on the screen for you. And by the way, this lesson sheet is available to you for free. There's a link down in the description. If you just click that, you can get this and follow along and have this as a reference for you to use in your own playing and practice. So the first thing that you'll see here is just a common chord progression, and we're going to use this chord progression to demonstrate these rhythm patterns. So I have it written here in the key of C, and the key of C is all white notes to make it easy, but I encourage you to practice it in other keys as well. But in the key of C, we're going to use the 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. So in the key of C, the C chord is the 1 chord. C, E, G is the C chord. Now we're going to play the C octave in the left hand and the C chord in this inversion. This is second inversion. So the thumb will be on G, 3-finger on C, and pinky on E. And then in the key of C, the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the G chord. So we'll play a G octave in the left hand, and then G, B, and D, G in root position in the right hand. And then 1, 5, 6, 4 is the chord progression. So we've got 1, 5, and then the 6th chord is A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth chord in the key of C is a minor chord, A minor. So we'll play the A octave down here in the left hand, and the A minor chord is A, C, and E. And then the 4 chord. So in the key of C, the 4 chord is 1, 2, 3, 4 at the F chord. F, A, and C. But we're going to play this in first inversion. A with the thumb, C with the 2-finger, and F with the pinky. And our octave in the bass. Now the reason why we play the chords in this arrangement and these inversions, so the chords stay close together in our right hand. They're all real close, and it makes it sound much more smooth and connected when we play our chords in inversions that are close to each other. So the first rhythm pattern that I have here for you is a 2-measure pattern. So that means the pattern will reset every 2 measures. And I'm going to show you first by changing the chord every 2 measures, and that's the more simple way to play it. And so the pattern is this. In 4/4 time, we've got a quarter note, which gets 1 beat, and then we've got a dotted quarter note, which gets a beat and a half. So we would count the first quarter note, which would be this chord, on 1. And then we would play the chord again on 2, the second beat. And then we would hold it through the 3rd beat when we say 3. So in between the 3rd and 4th beat, we would play the chord again. So we would play it on the and of the 3. So it would be 1, 2, 3, and we don't play anything on 4, and then we play the chord again on the and of 4. And then now this next beat is the first beat of the next measure, but we're going to hold this chord through the first beat of the first measure. So we don't play anything on the 1 beat of the next measure, but we play again on the and of the 1 of the second measure. So and we don't play anything on 2, so we're going to hold this. This is again a dotted quarter note, so it's going to be held for a beat and a half. It's coming in on the and of the 1, so we'll hold it through 2 and play again on the 3rd beat. So coming in again on the 3rd beat, and this is a quarter note, which we just play 2 quarter notes on the 3rd beat and the 4th beat. So the entire pattern would be counted like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. So that's very slow, and with the left hand, I have put just a... So in the left hand, I'm just holding down my C octave as I play those chords on those beats. Now this is tricky because there's 3 notes that are... There's 3 chords that are coming in on the offbeat, on the ands of the beat. So we've got the first two beats come in right on the beat. 1, 2. And then we hold this for a beat and a half, so now the next one comes in on the offbeat, in between beats 3 and 4. 3 and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Notice also that the left hand plays the octave again on with this chord right here. Now what's happening is we are playing an anticipated chord. We're anticipating the beat, the first beat of the next measure. So we got the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. So we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit there on that first beat of the next measure, because that first downbeat, it's very expected to come in on that downbeat, and when we come in a little bit early, it adds some syncopation and some excitement to the rhythm. So up to speed, it would sound like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to play it on the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Now the 6th chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, 4. Now the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3. Then we go back to the 1 chord. So this is a really beautiful pattern, especially when we play it 1 chord per measure. Now this is the more advanced way to play this. So what I just demonstrated was the chord lasts the same amount of time as the rhythm pattern. So the rhythm pattern resets every 2 measures, so the chords we were changing every 2 measures. But what happens if the chord only lasts for 1 measure? Now this is when you get into a really good effect of this pattern, because we've got the chord changing in the middle of the rhythm pattern. So take a look here on the lesson sheet. If we've got the C chord for the first measure and then the G chord for the second measure, this is how we would count it. We would play the C chord on the first beat and the C chord again on the second beat. And we've got the C chord in between beats 3 and 4, but notice we're going to go to the G chord on that anticipated beat. Remember the beat that comes in right before the 1 beat? So that would change right here. And now we're on the 5 chord, but we go to the 5 chord a half a beat early. So notice how this sounds. Now it's the exact same pattern, but we change the chord every measure. And so that means when we go to the 5 chord, we get that anticipation on the and of the 4. Now since the pattern resets every 2 measures, we don't have it for the 6 chord. So notice right here, the 6th chord comes in on the 1 beat, but on the 4 chord, we've got the same thing. We anticipate the first beat by changing to the 4 chord just a half a beat early on this beat right here, and this note right here. The and of the 4 right before the 1 beat of this measure. So notice how it sounds when we play it this way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now here's where we go to the 5 chord. And 1. And 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Let me play it up to speed. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. It's a really beautiful way to play this chord progression because of that anticipated beat every other measure. So let me demonstrate how this might sound in the song As the Deer. So I'm going to play this song with the 1 chord and the 6 chord, then the 4 chord, and then the 5 chord. So it's as the deer panteth for, there's the 6 chord, the water so my, there's the 4 chord, and then after, there's the 5 chord right there. So if we were to play it with this rhythm pattern that I just showed you, it would sound like this. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. Now, when practicing this, a word of caution is definitely to start off real slow, because when you first start trying to get those off beats, it's going to be hard at first, and it's going to be very counterintuitive. You naturally want to play on the beats, and especially that strong downbeat on the 1, because we're skipping it. We're coming in early, and it can be very challenging to get it first. So you really got to practice this one slow, and count the rhythm real clearly. Play it with the metronome, and you just got to do it over and over and over again until you get the feel for it. And you internalize that groove. And so you just know exactly how this should sound and how it should feel as you play it. So the next pattern here, pattern number 3, incorporates quarter note triplets. So the way quarter note triplets work is that for 3 quarter note triplets, they will last 2 beats. And so the challenge with this is to spread those 3 quarter note triplets evenly into 2 beats. And this is what's called 2 against 3. And it can be kind of challenging to get the feel for this at first. And it's really an advanced sound when you play 2 against 3. So notice how this sounds. I'm going to just demonstrate it for you real quick. So as you can see, if you can execute this well, it gives a lot of rhythmic interest and a great feel to your groove and to your pattern that you're playing. So this is how you want to practice this. The first and second beats are real easy. They're just quarter notes. 1, 2. And then in the left hand, as you can see, we're holding this octave for 2 beats. And then on beats 3 and 4, we just play quarter notes in the left hand. So this left hand is like our metronome. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're going to play those octaves on the 3rd and 4th beat to give us the 2 beats that we need to spread our triplets in evenly. And the way you want to understand this is that if we were to divide the 2 beats into 3 parts, then this second beat comes directly in between these 2 triplet notes. 1, 2, 1, 2. So a good way to start practicing this is to play only half notes in the left hand. Try to get that even triplet, quarter note triplet, in those beats 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Another way that might help you internalize the rhythm and get the feel for it is to only count beats 1 and 3 and just kind of feel the pulse on 1 and 3. So I've got 1, 3, 1, 3. Now I should fit my quarter note triplets in between 3 and 1. So 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Now I can add in the other beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then I'll add the left hand on those beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the best way to get this is just to, like I said, internalize the rhythm. And that means just know how it sounds and you have a good feel for that groove. And the only way to do that is just to practice it a lot and count it, start slow and practice a lot. But it also helps to listen to songs that have this. And once you start practicing, you'll start to hear it because it's a very distinct rhythm when those triplets come in. So the next couple patterns here take this same idea, but we apply it to eighth note triplets. Eighth notes are a half a beat, so we count them 1 and 2 and 1. So 2 eighth notes last 1 beat. So that means eighth note triplets should last 1 beat. So we get 2 eighth notes, 1 every beat. 1, 2, 3. So then we get eighth note triplets. The 3 notes in the triplet last 1 beat. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. So what we can do now with eighth note triplets is the same thing. Of course, you can just play eighth note triplets as an accompaniment pattern. But we can also incorporate this 2 against 3 by adding eighth notes to our left hand underneath the triplets in our right hand. So it's the same idea and it's the same feel. And once you get a good feel for the 2 against 3 with quarter note triplets, you can apply the same groove, the same feel to this pattern, just it's faster. So we count eighth note triplets, 1 ah. That's how I count them. 1 ah, 2 ah, or you can count them 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. So again, the first 2 come together, then the second triplet comes slightly before the and of the beat, which is the second eighth note. So slightly before the and, or the second eighth note, and then the last triplet of the 3 comes directly between, right in between, the and of the beat and the next beat, which is when they come together again. The triplet and the beat line up again. So slightly before the and, here's the and of the beat, and this comes right in between these down here where they come together again. Now there's all kinds of ways you can add this to your playing, and you could just hold the bass note for the whole measure. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 and 4 triplet. And that's an easy way to still get the 2 and 3 feel because we're going from eighth notes to triplets and we still get that kind of push and pull of the triplets and then the eighth notes and then the triplets. You can put your triplets on the first beat and the third beat, or the first or the second and fourth beat, however you want to do it. 1 triplet, 2 and 3 triplet, 4 and 1 triplet, 2 and 3 triplet, 4 and. But if you can get in the left hand your eighth notes on those triplets, you're going to get that really exciting 2 against 3 sound, and it really gives a lot of momentum to the song and some great rhythmic interest and variation. Now, pattern number 6 incorporates 16th note triplets, and this is a really common pattern and it's a really great effect as well. And this is going to give the effect of a snare drum. 16th note triplets take up 1 eighth note, or so 16th note triplets take up the space that 2 16th notes would occupy. 16th note is 1/4 of the beat, so 4 16th notes every beat. So 16th note triplets take up half of the beat. So I don't really have a way to count these, but when I show it to you, you'll recognize the sound of it, and it's real easy to get the hang of once you hear it and once you know how it's supposed to sound. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get that effect of that, 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 that. It's like a snare drum. And so there's this arrangement that I like to play of the little drummer boy that has that pattern in it. All throughout the left hand just continues that pattern over and over again to give it that snare drum effect. We just hit that over and over again. Da, 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 da. Those are 16th note triplets. You can put these 16th note triplets in the measure and in different patterns. I can play it on every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I can play it every 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So that's what I've got notated here. So you got 1, that, 2, that, 3. Or, and I can play this like here is a dotted quarter note. So I got 1, 2, and this would be the and of 2 where I start the that. Now let's get into some patterns for 3/4. One pattern in 3/4 is to play 2 dotted quarter notes together. So a dotted quarter note, remember, is 1.5 beats. And if you have 1.5 plus 1.5, that equals 3. And so we divide the 3 beats evenly into 2 sections, and this is a really pretty way to accompany in 3/4 time, because it's a little more of an unexpected way to play in 3/4. In 3/4, we're used to, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, those 3 beats. But when we play 2 dotted quarter notes, we get this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're getting this 2 pulse feel over 3 beats. Again, it's kind of the same effect of the 2 against 3 with the triplets. And so this is a really pretty way to accompany in 3/4. So notice I've got it written here over 3 quarter notes in the bass. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now another way that these 2 dotted quarter notes in 3/4 time work is as a left hand pattern. And this is a very common way to accompany in 3/4. So I've got in my left hand a pattern that consists of 2 dotted quarter notes, and that's how I would have that's the left hand pattern I would use throughout the 3/4 song. So it'd be 1, 2, and 3. So in this case, I'm just doing octave chords. So the first chord is a C, so I do a C octave and then a C chord. Then the 5 chord, a G octave, and then a G chord. And then the A minor, so it's A octave, and then A minor chord. And then for the F, it's the F octave and the F chord. You can simplify it just by doing more simple broken chords. You could do the C, like C, and then E and G like that. And then the G chord, D, and then G and B like this. Then the A chord, you could do C, and then E and A like this. And then the F chord, C, and then the F and A like this. That'd be an easier way to do a left-hand pattern. The same thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But notice how this sounds if I were to play this left-hand pattern underneath of a simple melody like I've got written here for pattern number 8. It would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So a hymn that's coming to mind that's in 3/4 time. There's many, but Trust and Obey is a common hymn that's in 3/4 time. So when we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word. So let me show you. That's just all F chord right there. 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now pattern number 9 is similar to the very first pattern I showed you, which is a 2-measure pattern, but it's just modified to fit in 3 beats rather than 4. So we would do it this way. We would play the first beat as a quarter note, and then we would play the chord again on the second beat, but only hold it for an 8th note, which would be a half a beat. So we'd play 1, and then we'd play again on the 2 for an 8th note. So that means we would play the chord again on the and of 2, and we would play this one as a quarter note. So now this one is on the and of the 3rd beat. And then we play nothing for the 3rd beat because we're holding this quarter note through the 3rd beat. And then this is our anticipated beat. So we're anticipating the 1st beat on the and of 3. And this would be where we change. We change early for that anticipation effect. And then this would be we would play this as an 8th note, but it's tied into the 1st beat of the 2nd measure. And we'd hold this for 1.5 beats. So we're held it for 8th note tied to a quarter note. So it's and, we play this on the and of 3 and hold it for 1. And then we just play these last 2 beats, these last 2 chords on the beats 2 and 3. And then the pattern resets. 1, 2, and then we hold it for 3, and then we play, this is our anticipated beat. So this is the and of 3, hold it through 1, and then play on the 2nd and 3rd beat of this measure. So in 3/4 time, this 2-measure pattern would sound like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. So this is a really pretty way to play in 3/4 time. Let me speed it up and show you how it sounds. Now let's look at some patterns in 6/8 time. So 6/8 is 6 measures, 6 beats per measure, but we're going to count the 8th note as a whole beat. So in the other time signatures, we were getting, the 8th note was getting a half a beat. We're counting 8th notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 but in 6/8, it's the 16th notes that get a half a beat, and it's the 8th notes that get 1 beat. And 6/8 is compound time, meaning we've got not only 6 beats per measure, but we've got 2 pulses per measure. And we want to actually get a stronger feel for the pulses rather than thinking of every individual beat. So when I'm playing in 6/8 time, I want to get that 1st and 4th beat as the guideposts in my head for the rhythm. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to be that pulse, 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 pulse. Now that's kind of a fast tempo for 6/8 time. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's kind of fast, but even slower songs, we want to still have that strong pulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pulse, 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 pulse. So in 6/8 time, we're thinking of 2 groups of 3/8 notes, and it's very important that we have that grouping. But what happens when 6/8 time is sometimes, or a lot of times, you'll see 16th notes in amongst the 8th notes, and so it's real straightforward to have those groups of 3/8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's easy. Those are eighth notes all on the beat. But then what do we do with these 16th notes that are thrown in amongst the eighth notes, especially with our chord patterns? So take a look at how we would want to count this. If the 16th note is on the first beat, well, we just think of that as an eighth note. It gets half of the beat. So it's 1, and then the next note comes in on the and. And so this is one way that 16th notes can be used to add some variation to the 6/8 pattern. And so if we've got a 16th note at the beginning, then all of the following eighth notes are displaced onto the ands of the beats. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. They're all displaced because that first note is a 16th note. So that's how we would count that. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now I've got it resetting here. So we would go back to playing on the beat on the 4th. But again, this is a 16th note again, so these following eighth notes are displaced. So we've got it. This first measure would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2. But the challenge is to be able to fit this within the framework of our pulses, and we want to get there. So instead of having to count every single beat, I want to get the feel for that rhythm within my 2 pulses. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and I can still just count my pulses. Pulse, 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 pulse. Now that takes some work and some practice, and you have to start by counting out every beat. But you got to keep in mind that the goal is to be able to have the feel of that groove within our compound time pulses. And the same thing applies to these other patterns in 6/8. So this first measure here is one pattern. Of course, we'd apply that to all the chords. Same thing here, pattern number 11. The only difference is we've got an eighth note for the first beat, so we play the chord on the beat. Then we've got, that puts the next chord on the second beat. We got a dotted eighth on the second beat, which means we would hold this through the 3, and then we'd play this 16th note on the and before the 4th beat. So it'd be like this: 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2. So up to speed, if we were to play a little faster, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and the same thing. We want to work to where we can play that in our pulse without having to overthink every single beat. And again, the only way to do it is to really practice these. Start slow, count every beat, slowly speed up, and then start just counting the 1st and 4th beats. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and. Now I'll count only the 1st and 4th beat. 1, 4, 1. 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Pattern number 12 also is just another arrangement of the dotted eighth note with the 16th. So we put the dotted eighth note at the very beginning of the measure, so that means we would hold this first chord for 1.5 beats. 1, and then we'd hold it through the 2, and we'd play the next chord on the and between the 2 and the 3, and then the next chord comes in on the 3. So it's 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm only going to count the pulses. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. So pattern number 13 here is similar to the one I showed you in common time with 16th note triplets, but it's got a different feel in 6/8 time. So notice here the first beat is a dotted eighth note, so that's 1.5 beats in 6/8 time. So we've got 1, 2, and then our 16th notes all are like eighth notes, so we're going to and 3 and. And so that takes us through the first half of the measure, and we just repeat that. 4, 5, we hold this for 4 and 5. And then our 16th note here comes in on the and of 5 and on the 6 and on the and of 6. So we go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. 1, 4, 1, 4. Again, getting to that place where we can start to count just the pulses. So to help you, you can also just play your left hand on the first and fourth beat, and it'll give you those pulses every measure, and you can use that kind of as your metronome as you practice these 6/8 patterns. Pattern number 14 is a great effect in 6/8 time. It's a similar effect to the accompaniment pattern I showed you in 3/4 time, because we were playing 2 dotted quarter notes in 3/4 time, which split the 3 beats into 2 divisions evenly. Well, we're doing the same thing here, but since each measure has 6 beats, we're taking those 6 beats and dividing the measure into 4 divisions evenly, and so it switches the feel. We've got these divisions of 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we all of a sudden use the dotted eighth notes to get 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's a great variation and rhythmic effect to switch to these dotted eighth notes in 6/8 time, because we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we switch into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So the way this is counted, and again, start off real slow. It's everything comes together on the first beat, but since it's a dotted eighth note, it's held for 1.5 of the beats in 6/8 time. So we go 1, 2, and then we play another dotted eighth on the and of 2, which will fill up 3 beats, and 3. And then we come in with another dotted eighth on the fourth beat, 1, 4, 5. So we play again on the and of 5, and 6. We do the same thing again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, you can use your left hand as kind of a metronome. So the best way to do this, though, is to add variation in your 6/8 accompaniment, and go from the eighth notes to the dotted eighth notes, and you get that back and forth from 2 and 3, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And that applies with every single one of these 6/8 patterns. You can use all of these for rhythmic interest. So in one part of the song, you can be playing. This is pattern number 11. And then say you get maybe to the chorus and you want to switch to something like. And then maybe the second verse we build and we get to and we start to use those dotted eighth. And then maybe we get to the chorus and we add in the dotted eighth against the eighth notes. And we just mix and match and we come up with a great arrangement to any song in 6/8 time. We've got all these rhythms at our disposal. Well, if this lesson was a help to you, then go ahead and hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also, remember, you can get this lesson sheet down in the description. Just click the link there and you can get this for free. Also, you can get my book, The Church Pianist Pattern Library. This is a 127 ebook PDF file that is available to you, and it's got just a bunch of left-hand patterns, walks and runs, fills. It's a compilation of things that I've used to teach throughout the years. It's just a great resource for church pianists who are looking to improvise and play and embellish more and fill out your hymn arrangements or your piano accompaniment. So check that out at the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and we'll see you in the next lesson.